Good morning. Welcome back to Coffee and Colorful Conversation. We're still under construction here, so if you hear some loud noises, it's an electric nail gun. I'm not being shot. We're having some carpentry work done today. The show must go on, right? So hopefully I'm not super pixelated. I'm a little delayed on my screen. Hopefully you can all see me and my lips match my words. You can let me know. I had a weird thing this morning with I logged onto my computer and my whole background is black instead of white. And I don't know about you, but I am getting pretty routined at this stage in my life. So it's really throwing me having a black background. I'm like trying to find, all the usual buttons that, are in the same spot, but because the background is black, it's just really throwing me. And it's funny because as you get older, these things seep in little by little and you don't realize how routine you are until something throws you out of your routine, like having construction in your house and having to drink your coffee in a different place and moving your things around and not being able to find things. So I will do my best to stay on track with the shooting sounds in the background. So good morning, Stacy. Good morning, Christine. Thanks for saying hello. It lets me know that you can see and hear me. So today, the title of today's coffee chat is Stop Letting Your Clients Bully You with Their Pinterest Photos. And why I say bully you is no longer is a client just coming in wielding a photo. We love photos, right? We like to know exactly what they're looking for so that we can deliver on what they want. But it's a whole new level of, for lack of a better word, bullying. They're coming in armed with information that they should not have. Instagram is an amazing tool. Facebook is an amazing tool. But educators like myself and others, our pages are open to everyone because we want to welcome as many hairstylists that can possibly find us to find out about our education and enter into our world. So I don't put a barrier of entry on this page. I don't make you fill out a thing with your license number and all of that. So non-hairdressers can watch this coffee chat every week. I'm sure they won't because they're not interested in the information, but they can. As well as Instagram, I can go on Instagram on Reels and watch hair techniques all day long, not as a hairdresser. So what's happening is they're taking that little gem of wisdom that they're learning on Instagram, they're bringing it into you, and they now feel as though they are the authority and they're going to tell you what process they're going to have on their hair. And they don't know all of the other information that leads up to being able to do that little nugget of a technique for you to do for them. So one thing that has always frustrated me is when clients think that going gray, that transition that you see, you all know who Jack Martin is. He made himself pretty famous for doing those silver gray transitions, but he also spends 8 hours with a client and charges thousands of dollars. So when your guest sees that before and after from Jack, they don't see the price, they don't see the time, they don't see the process that was involved, and then they want you to be the magician and pull out your magic wand and get them from gray. I'm sorry, from a retouch from 20 years of a retouch and having this much gray regrowth, which I happen to have. I'm going tomorrow to have my hair done. They want you to just do that in one process in the same amount of time that you made them brown. So it's frustrating because when we try to stand up for ourselves and say, oh yes, he's really good at that. He takes 8 hours. There's a lot of bleaching involved. And then their head rubbernecks around in a circle like the exorcist. Oh, bleach. I don't want bleach on my hair. How many times have you had a client say, I don't want you to use bleach on my hair? I read an article that said it's really damaging. Well, they don't know what else was involved in that article and what the background was as far as how much abuse had that hair taken ahead of time, and that we have products that we take safety precautions and we prep their hair and we condition their hair and we care for their hair. And it's different than, when a hockey team, when all the kids on a hockey team decide to bleach their hair for the playoffs. You've seen that with, teams saying, we're all going to shave our heads, we're all going to bleach our heads. They sometimes will use household bleach on their hair and they're not exactly taking precautions the way that we would as professionals. So, um, taking back your power, not only in what you will do to the hair, what steps you're going to take, what products you're going to use, but another thing that really fires me up is pricing. Because your clients are seeing all these magical transformations and not seeing the price, when we tell them what it truly costs to get to that point, especially in one visit, they think that we are trying to get out of doing it and that we're just trying to price them out of that service. What I do want you to do is, you hear these words floating around: charge your worth, make sure you charge your worth. But no one tells you what your worth is. So your worth, yeah, you should be paid for every single service that you do, but you can't take things out of context and see, what the, oh, what is her name? Soraya, I think she's called the Platinum Giraffe. She keeps putting posts up with prices of 1,800, 2,000, like all these really high prices for things that she has done. Clients don't know what is her demographic, where does she live, what is her rent, what type of salon is she in, how many years has she been doing it, how long is her waiting list. All of those things factor in. But there's 90% of the industry is too far on the other side, where they're doing these 2, 3, 4 hour processes and charging $95, $110, thinking that they're winning. So there's somewhere in between, there's a lot of room in between not charging enough and being way too expensive, and closing out a lot of the marketplace to not be able to afford your services. So my advice is, I just did a webinar on Monday. If you missed it, it was a great webinar. I did it with Reach, which I spoke about last week. Reach is artificial intelligence. It's an application that you can connect with your salon software that will fill your book for you. It is amazing. If you missed the webinar and you're interested in hearing about Reach, please reach out to me. I have a special link. You can get 30 days free on me for Reach. It's a phenomenal platform that I wish I had my entire career. Side note. So I was doing a webinar for them and I talked about tiered pricing. Most salons, I travel a lot, I visit other salons, I educate in other salons, and the first thing I do is I pick up their menu. And what I see is haircut, 45 and up, waxing, whatever, and up, highlights, and up. But it doesn't differentiate between different levels of stylists. So for me, as both a color professional and a salon owner and all the hats that I've worn in my career, if I do someone's color, I better be charging more after 35 years than one of my junior colorists that's in training. So most salons just haven't even thought about it. They set a price and they make it that price for everyone. And then the new girl is struggling to build because someone who's been there for 35 years is at a higher price point. So the salon has slowly raised to that higher price point, and then the newbie has to charge those prices. So you're setting he or she up for failure if they're coming in at those higher prices. On the flip side, if I'm a veteran who's been there 35 years and I'm stuck charging $100 because the newbies have to charge $100 and my salon owner didn't have the thought to change prices for individuals based on supply and demand. So a lot of my members in my Hair Color Secrets Insider membership, when we talk about the six-figure stylist, I break down how easy it is to be a six-figure stylist when you break it down per hour. You start at your annual number, then you break it down to the amount of weeks you're going to work, the amount of days that you work, the amount of hours, and you come up with that number. And it usually comes out to be about $100 an hour, which if you're a good colorist should be easy to do. And I should say, if you're a good colorist and you're charging properly, it would be easy to do. So having that tiered pricing is so important, because if a client calls the salon, I have a friend who worked at a salon, and I kid you not, this is the truth. Their system for new client distribution was alphabetical. So her last name before she got married began with a W. So she calls me E. She's like, E, I gotta wait until everybody in the salon who has a name prior to a W gets a new client for me to get one. I said, you need to leave that salon. That is the craziest system I've ever heard of. Our system at our salon isn't a system at all. We let the client choose. We have 2 colorists and 2 stylists right now at my salon. We're very boutique, very specialized. We give one-on-one attention. We don't squeeze in. That's our business model. That's on purpose. So out of the two colorists, one has about 3 to 4 years experience and one has 25 years experience. With the haircuts, one has 18 years experience, one has 25 years experience. So because they are longer in the industry and because they worked with me for 18 years, we've always had them on tiered pricing for them to get a raise and to have a career path. I want to know when I start my job as your assistant that I'm going to have all those jumps in my career and I'm going to have a plan and a path to become a six-figure earner with flexibility. I want to be rewarded at each level of my career. So when a client calls, most times, because we have such a strong referral program, and that's all part of my membership as well, I share all of my client attraction methods that are a little outside the box, but they work. We have not paid for advertising in probably 20 years. We don't have any kind of paid form of advertising. We do a lot of heavy referral and cross promotion. So when a client calls, if they're referred, they're usually asking for someone by name. Hi, I'm a friend of Karen's. I'd like to see Mary Beth for my cut. I'd like to see Alicia for my color. They're very specific. That makes our job easier sometimes because they've been there longer and they're more in demand. When people want them together, it's tough to get an appointment we're departmentalized. So we need it to work out that the color appointment is available in front of the haircut appointment and they can have that together. What's nice is we're also really strong on pre-booking. So when that client leaves, we make sure she books out 3 visits ahead so we know she's coming back and she has the dynamic duo at the perfect time for her. So that's all important. These are all systems that are important. But when it comes to pricing, most clients have an idea in their head about where they came from and where they want to be. So when they call and the person who answers the phone says, who would you like to see? They say, I'm not sure, I've never been there before. Can you tell me a little bit about, who does what? And we say, okay, we start with, okay, what are you accustomed to spending for your color services? And if they say, usually under $100, then we know to put them with the more junior colorist because her prices are going to be closer to that. Pardon me, same with a haircut. Someone will call and say, I have extremely curly, coarse, thick hair. Who's good with curly hair? We automatically put them with Teresa because she does the Diva curly cut. So it just makes things so much simpler. Imagine if you had to wait for a client based on your name. It's not based on retention, not based on demand on your time, on referrals. There has to be a better way than alphabetical order. So if you're a salon owner and you haven't thought about tiered pricing, I strongly urge you to have tiered pricing because it makes it better for everyone. It makes it better for the salon. The salon should be earning more money on a more seasoned stylist as well as the seasoned stylist. It wouldn't be fair if someone doing hair 35 years was getting paid the same as someone who's been out of school for 6 months. But having one set price is basically what you're saying. You're saying like you don't deserve any more than that other person. And when fear comes in, I love talking about fear because I tend to lean on being more fearless than fearful. There are things that I'm still fearful when it comes to my personal life, but not my business life. There's no fear there. So if fear is keeping you from raising your prices, raise one price. So say you're tired of doing kids' haircuts. We just had this conversation in my membership. Someone asked about, she doesn't want to keep doing kids' cuts for a kids' cut price. I don't blame her. Kids' cuts are dangerous. You cut yourself most times. You lose a digit of your finger trying to keep them still. It's a pain in the ass. So instead of just keeping on taking those appointments and just dealing with the squirmy kid and losing that time on your book, think about it as a price per hour thing. If you're doing little Johnny, Harry Taffy chair spinner and he's like the little exorcist in your chair, number one, your cortisol is through the roof for the rest of the day. You're in a mood, you're frazzled, you're sweating, your makeup's dripping down your face, you're bleeding because he keeps moving when you go to cut his hair and God forbid you don't want to cut him. So when you look at the end of your day and you see highlight 150, highlight 250, whatever your highlight price is, and then you see little Johnny Harry Taffy, $12 or whatever, your kid's cut may even be less. You have to get pissed off and look at that little boy's haircut as he interfered with you making the maximum you would have made that day. That appointment would have been available. Usually when they want to come in, It's when mom and dad are home from work, right? So it's an evening appointment and it's taking up prime real estate on your book. So start with that. Start with, from now on, my children's cuts will be, I'm gender and age neutral. It's the new thing to be gender neutral. So just say, our haircuts are this price. That's it. No matter who's in my chair, I don't care if they're 2 or 200, this is how much their haircut is, and set a precedent and just raise that. If you strive to become a color specialist, which was the best thing I ever did in my career 18 years ago, if you want to do more color and less cuts, raise your haircut price. You're not kicking anyone out of your chair. You're just saying, I will cut your hair at this price. I would rather be doing a color at that price. So make your haircut close to your color price, so that if someone really, really wants you, they're going to pay that higher price. And then there's no fear, because you still have them getting their color done with you. You can give the haircut to someone else in the salon, maybe a more junior stylist that's at that lower price point. Everyone wins. But stop doing things that you hate doing at a price that you don't get, paid well for, because what we let go expands. So little Johnny Harry Taffy has friends, right? The daycare person says, oh my gosh, Johnny, your haircut looks so good. And he says, oh, my mom takes me to blah, blah, blah. All of a sudden you have a line of little Harry Taffies waiting for those appointments. So emphasize what you love and seek that out. Look at your favorite client that is coming in, that you light up when you see them on the book, and you say, I want more of her. For me, it was Nancy. I want more Nancy's. I want more of Nancy's friends. Nancy belongs to 3 country clubs. Her handbags cost more than my car. She's, wonderful to talk to. She's pleasant. She's not a pain in the butt. She's an easy client, but she looks amazing all the time. So when she leaves my salon and she's at the supermarket, people are going to stare at her because she looks like a supermodel when she leaves the salon. And she's probably 70. She's late 60s, early 70s, but she's sharp. Like, she is a beautiful woman, and people do a double take when they see her hair. So we've gotten a bajillion referrals from Nancy because we make her look and feel so good. And when she leaves, she wants to share where she gets her hair done. So ask your favorite client for referrals. They don't automatically want to go to the supermarket and talk about how great they feel about their hair. But when someone compliments them, instead of saying, oh, thank you, train them to say, oh, thank you, I just came from my salon. Here's the referral card that they gave me. I would love for you to meet my girl, Mary Beth. She makes me feel like this. The blowout lasts for 4 or 5 days. I don't have to touch my hair. I wake up looking like this. Who's not going to follow her to Mary Beth? So think about your time behind the chair as this is your 2x2 square, your own business. Whether you're commission or booth rental or you have a suite, you have your own business within a business. And stop waiting for the owner of the salon to make things happen. For if it's a chain, for God forbid, if it's a chain, you're going to wait forever for them to notice you because they have 50 locations and a bajillion employees, and they don't know that you've been doing hair 30 years and you're still at the same price. So be that squeaky wheel, be that client that comes in with those crazy Pinterest photos, but about your own career. So back to the Pinterest photos and back to, the clients being unrealistic. So there's creative ways of giving them what they want, but being more realistic in price point and timing and all of those things. Have the conversation about what it truly takes to get there. Something that I do for those gray transitions, if you ask Beth Minardi, or I've seen Mags Kavanaugh, if you don't know who Mags is, she's the chemist who's also a colorist. She has a very active Facebook page. It's called Ask Mags. She gets more into the chemistry of color, so I refer to her page a lot when someone asks me something about splat or removing henna or one of those things. She's the authority on all those things. So when you ask her about people converting to gray, she says they really need to let it grow out. And that is the truth. I mean, the ultimate way to keep the hair healthy and get rid of all that color is to let it grow out. So a few of my members in Hair Color Secrets Insider have said, this client, they show me the picture and they're like, she wants to go to silver gray. How do I get her there? And the client has super fine hair and it's fairly short. For her, I say, stop doing her retouch everywhere but here. Right now, when you look at me, the only place you see that I need to get to my colorist is right here. My hair was styled this morning. I did all the things. I was going to come on not styled to show you how I wake up, and my husband was embarrassed. He's like, please do your hair. That's embarrassing. But I wanted to show you that when your clients think that they can have beach waves from a perm, it can't happen. And I wanted to show you what my natural curl looks like. But if you look at me from every single angle other than this, you would say, oh, you look like you just had your hair done. So when this happens, when I'm due to get my hair done, I literally take this Root Magic cover up from L'Oreal. I'm not going to really spray this because I'm getting my color done tomorrow and I don't want to rewash it. But I literally go right down my part and I can get a photo shoot done. It looks like more like the front of my hair. I have less gray right here. So it looks like that. And nobody has to know that there's this. And I want to show you, now that we're being transparent, look at how gray I am. So for all the naysayers that say, Demi-Permanent washes out, it doesn't last, it only lasts 4 shampoos, if that were true, then I wouldn't have this color in my hair. This is all Demi-Permanent color. And if you want to know more, you have to join my membership and I'll share all of that with you. So my point is, to go gray, you can simply, the next time that client comes in, if she wears her hair with a part, you do on the part and maybe 2 spots on either side. Like maybe, everything's opposite on the camera, I'm sorry, I can't. So about this much with a retouch, and maybe right around her hairline if she pushes her hair back this way. And that's it. And then each time she sees you, you just do that and let everything underneath each visit is going to be further and further and further down. And then this is a gradual transition. There's no bleach, there's no harsh chemicals. It's just, we're tricking your client and others into thinking that she still has color. And it's just that top layer that's still colored, and everything underneath is going to come creeping through. Then you can get creative with, you know, maybe sneaking in and doing a couple highlights, bringing it up really light, toning it silver. Then you can do this gradual thing where at the end of the year, suddenly she's silver, and you just, you know, towards the end, of course, you stop doing the part once everything starts to go down. But it's called creative color placement and creative ways of giving that Pinterest person their reality. They don't want to spend $1,800 in 8 hours in the salon because they're not really sure they even want to be gray. Most of them, when we get them there, are like, oh crap, I look 10 years older, I don't like this. In my opinion, if a woman isn't into like having her makeup done and a bold lip and fun earrings and dress really fun and cool and lots of jewelry and like really eclectic, it's hard to pull off that gray if you're at that age where people don't really know how old you are anyway. You're kind of in that limbo of like, is she 40 or is she 60? You know, like it can push you on to the 60 real quick when you're in that gray transition. That's just my opinion. I hope I'm not offending anyone. Some people have beautiful, gorgeous, shiny silver hair. Most don't. Most look like they fought with their hairdresser and that they just, you know, have been through COVID and haven't gotten, what's going on? I see Karen saying it's on her and it keeps freezing. You guys, am I talking to myself? Have I been talking to myself for the past 23 minutes? Oh boy. I hope you guys have heard me and I hope it's recording. So Sharon said she watched the replay. Awesome. I'm glad they're sending out the replay because I didn't want you guys to miss it. It was a lot of good information for using technology to benefit you in the salon, and you should definitely check out Reach. It is amazing. I just don't do the things I hate doing, like perms and fashion cut. Yeah. All right, hopefully I didn't just talk to myself for the last half hour. It was a little pixelated in the beginning. I was concerned about that, but hopefully you guys can all hear me. So I'm working on my next class to do as an individual class. And I thought about it this morning and I thought, you know, most people don't, when you think about a double process, your mind automatically goes to Marilyn Monroe, Gwen Stefani, Madonna, like people who have darker hair that want that all over roots to ends blonde. And of course, with the whole silver and platinum and all of the trends, we've seen a lot more. We've seen a lot of platinum cards, a lot of double processes, but there's also double process brunette double process redhead. There's also other versions of double process that is the new normal in hair color. So if you're not performing other double processes, I think that's a class that would interest you. So if you're interested, stay tuned. I'm most likely going to film it as soon as there's not nail guns in the house, probably by the end of this week. So it'll be available starting next week. So you can come to my website or to here to the coffee chat or to Instagram to find out when it's available. It's going to be super low cost. I like to do those individual classes low cost so that you don't have any guilt and you learn something new. So I'm going to share that with you, like what another type of double process looks like and how that makes you stand out from your neighbors. If you're doing a double process red, a double process brunette, and other creative double process blonding that's not Madonna, Gwen Stefani, roots to ends, you're going to stand out from the salon across the street, down the street, and 5 miles away. People are going to talk about this amazing new process that they were able to get away with not getting their hair done as frequently, and it stayed super shiny, beautiful, and conditioned and bright and not faded. Sorry. Voice is not awake yet. So I hope that you'll join me for that class. For blonding is not the only double process. I'll come up with a clever name you guys can share if you think of anything fun for that. This is not your mama's double process, something like that. I like to do fun names to get people's attention. But I hope that after this coffee chat, you'll think about tiered pricing. You'll think about getting past the fear of raising prices. When you're afraid of losing a client, you're not realizing that you're holding on to that client at that lower price point. You're preventing yourself from getting your Nancy, your client that comes in and she doesn't care how much it is. She cares about what she looks like. She wants to spend money. She hands you her card and she doesn't say how much. She just hands you her card. That's the client that you want in your chair. You don't want to constantly be getting those people that are, busting your chops about your prices, nickeling and diming you. I had a price increase, and a client that was so annoying, who drove me insane, was the first to complain. And I smiled really big and I said, it's time for you to see Laura, my coworker. She is exactly, I think it was $7 that I raised my price. She is exactly $7 less than me. And she does a great job. And good news, she has your recipe. So she's going to do exactly what I've been doing for you. And you still get to visit with me and you still get to see me. So there's your $7. You can stay with Laura and you can stay at the salon. So Laura then was let go, and this woman came in to buy product, and she's like, oh, you broke up with me. I have to go. I said, no, you broke up with me for $7. For the price of your morning latte, you left me. I saved you. I created a color on you that you love, and then I allowed you to take your recipe elsewhere. So you chose to leave me for $7. And I say it with a big smile. I don't get combative or, really mean. I'm just like, no, that was your choice. I raised my price because my time is in demand and I do a lot of educating myself and I'm always on top of the trends and I bring it back and share it with my staff. So if $7 put you over the edge, then see one of my staff members. And it's like, what's the word? Passive aggressive smile. Nice to see you. I hope you're enjoying that $7 latte. And that's it. It's about having the confidence, and I didn't get here overnight. Trust me, I've been doing this 35 years and I've gotten my feelings hurt a lot. So it's those little battle scars that you're going through. I see people on forums saying, I feel so bad. I've been doing this client for 15 years and she just ghosted me and I'm hurt. I felt like we were friends. And I'm like, honey, I've been there, done that. I've had so many people that has happened to me, and your skin gets thicker and thicker. And you realize that it's a service. It's like changing dry cleaners or dentists or any other service. It's all about convenience, especially now. People don't even want to leave their house. My husband was just saying this morning that Chick-fil-A was sending him a notice. He has the Chick-fil-A app. It's so bad. And he's like, do you know I can get an egg sandwich right now delivered and the sandwich and the delivery is free because I have points on my Chick-fil-A app. So My son last night was delivering DoorDash. He needs a job. If anybody has a job, my son's amazing. He's a college graduate. He needs a job. Hopefully that he can work remotely from Tampa. I don't want him to move. But he was doing DoorDash, and he's like, I just delivered a milkshake to a freshman dorm. Someone ordered just a milkshake to their dorm because they didn't feel like getting in their car and going and getting a milkshake. So I fear for our society, how we're so antisocial. It's scary, but it's so convenient. Why wouldn't you? Like if he was in the middle of studying or doing something, well, now it's summer, but if he was in the middle, I'm sure, of a video game, battle with someone, and didn't want to give up his thing to get his milkshake, but he was craving a milkshake, he was resourceful and used modern technology to get there. So the replay of Reach, I highly recommend watching because we have to use technology to our advantage. I can't tell you how many nights, weekends, time that I should have been with my family that I spent trying to fill open holes in the book for all of my staff, not just me. I would look ahead and be like, ooh, she has a 2 hour gap. We need to fill that. We need to go to Starbucks and ask people to be models. Like I was always very proactive, and it was exhausting, really exhausting, but I always filled those gaps. And what I was doing, in retrospect, I can see that it was that whole adage of like, teach a man to fish and he'll always be able to feed himself. I wasn't teaching my staff how to fish. I was always filling the book for them. So Reach is totally automated, and it knows which one of your clients needs to be in for a visit and only reaches out to them. And it is so high tech and amazing and so affordable, and their guarantee is so incredible that you wouldn't not use it. The only barrier of using it for us, they're not compatible with my salon software, but it's so amazing. I'm actually contemplating changing my software so that we can have Reach. So if you're interested, please reach out to me so I can give you a special link and get you 30 days free for Reach. But it's a great new tool that every salon moving forward should have in this high-tech environment that we're in. So thanks for watching. I hope that you didn't miss too much on today being Skippy off to watch the replay and see what happened. But this is always my pleasure to be here every Wednesday. I hope you'll tell other stylists to join us for coffee chats. If you haven't already, please check out my YouTube. I have hundreds of videos of free education on there. And most people end up finding my membership because they found a video on YouTube that they related to and they liked my style of teaching. So I'm always open for new members of my Hair Color Secrets Insider membership. And I hope that you guys will check out the new Double Process is not just for blondes anymore class that's coming soon. So thanks for watching. Have a great rest of your week.